Good morning, good morning. This morning I was driving on my way to work. I want to drop off my daughter for school. While I was driving, there was this particular vehicle in my way. The person was driving in the middle of the road and there was just not giving, no lead way. And, I thought, jump in my mind. And I think about it. I said, I want to overtake this person, but maybe God don't want me to overtake this vehicle. So, there's a blockage. Sometimes when we are going through our situation, there is blockage in our way. It seems like we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and there is no way out. It seems like there is no way out. But just remember, 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 came back to me when Paul, seek God fervently, persistently. He prayed for this situation to move. The thorn that was in his flesh. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, Paul is saying this now, when God said his grace was sufficient to keep Paul in his situation. Paul is saying, Lord, I accept that your grace is sufficient. He said, most gladly, therefore, since you said your grace is sufficient, Lord, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Sometimes we are going through our situation. We want to get out as fast as possible. But in your situation, everything is a process. And in your situation, while you are waiting through your process, just learn from it. In your process, you might develop patience. You might develop long suffering. You might develop faith. And when you look back on it, you have a testimony that, you were going through this for 12 years, you were going through this for 3 years, but God kept you in that situation. And at the end of your dark tunnel, you came out victorious. There is a victory in your waiting. And God is able. His grace is sufficient to keep you. The sovereign God grace is sufficient to keep you in your situation. Press on.